What's up, YouTube? This is Kane here. Decided to give you a guide on my Freezing Pulse build that I've started so far. It's going to be a Freezing Pulse CI character, most likely, unless I decide to change it on later. This is a day 1.5, basically, of the build, and I'll show you what I got so far. I did manage to get a 6 link. The reason why is because I had a lot of currency left over, plus it's sort of the end of the league, so it was a little bit easier to obtain. Pretty, pretty nice 6 link we got here. 460 ES isn't too bad. I've noticed with the CI characters that ES is a little bit hard to come by. I'm only at 5,000 ES compared to my Whispering Ice build, which was scaling upwards of 10,000 ES. So the scaling on that build is absolutely insane in comparison so far. I decided to use daggers so that I can whirling blade around. Wrong skill. As you can see, it's decently fast. I wanted the build to be a little bit faster since the Whispering Ice build was a lot slower. I'm using daggers that have a bunch of extra crit to spells, along with some attack speed and maybe some cold damage and a little bit of spell damage. These were relatively cheap. I bought all this for under 10C. This one I actually crafted. I'm putting in Orb of Storms, Summon Golem, and Power Charge on crit. But I will be changing that out for Frost Bomb, Faster Casting, Arcane Surge, and I'll explain why in a second. I decided to use the Felerium Moonstone Ring because of the stun, and I wanted to go with a increased maximum energy shield amulet instead of using an amulet that makes me immune to stun, because this is a better spot to get the energy shield, I feel like, along with the strength and dex that I need. I'm still using the Darkness and Throne Belt because of the 2 jewels that I have are going to be really good. I'm just using this mostly for maxing my resistances currently. I haven't completed the game yet. I'm in Act 9 currently, and these are my resistances. Obviously, I have way more fire than I need, so I'll be fixing them at some point. Boots, I just bought a pair of boots that were relatively cheap, 30 MS, and then one high resist, and this one actually has an open spot, so I can either get more resistance or I can decide to get more energy shield. Same thing with the gloves, just got something that filled up the resistance I needed, added a little bit more energy shield to them, so they're at 160, which isn't too bad. And the helmet, same thing here, just pick something to fill up some resistances, and then grabbed as high of an ES as I could get. For my links, I am running Fortify, Whirling Blades, Faster Attacks. The Orb of Storm setup I already showed you, which I'm going to switch. Warlord's Mark, Clarity, Blasphemy. Clarity I don't feel is necessary, but I have it on there. I'm going to see how it goes. The reason why I want to run Warlord's Mark is because not only does it give me endurance charges, it gives me the leech that I desperately need in this build to be able to sustain my energy shield. For the links in this, for the Freezing Pulse, I'm going to go Cold Pen, Ice Bite until I can afford, I think it's called the Green Dream, which allows me to get Frenzy Charges on kill, and then I'll switch this out for Hypo probably. Controlled Destruction doesn't really bother my crit chance, as you can see. Right here, 43. If I take it out, I'm at 51. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, plus I have Diamond Blast, so it's a huge damage boost. The other link I decided that I might put in there was Added Cold, but getting 3 green was a little hard and I didn't have a lot of chromes left. Freezing Pulse, I made sure to get a 20 quality one for the extra projectile speed. I think it's very important. Spell Echo feels really nice in this, as you can see here. And then last but not least, increased critical strike, obviously because it's a critical strike build. The rings I'm filling out with just some basic rings here. This one's got a lot of dex on it, which I need. It gives me some resistance and whatnot. Nothing too special there. And then, like I said, the other ring here, biggest issue is the negative cold. So we might swap positions there. I'm not sure. For Flask, I'm just using immunity to freeze, Stignite, Quartz Flask, a Granite Flask, a Diamond Flask, and a Silver Flask. And the Silver Flask really helps for my speed, Whirling Blade wise. So I also have Val Haste, Val Discipline, Increased Duration, Flame Dash, Cast and Damage Taken, Immortal Call, and Regular Discipline for uh, my ES. As you can see here, we have, this is our stats currently. Let's take a quick look. And defensive stats. Like I said, this is only day 1.5. I'm not exactly sure where I plan on going with this build. This build I feel like would be better low life, or even hybrid, but I decided I wanted to go CI because I haven't made a CI character this league yet. For the tree, this is what the tree looks like. I'm not sure if I'm going to remove these nodes and connect through a different path yet. But currently I'm just kind of grabbing ES. I'm coming down here. I'm going to grab this ES down here as well because I feel like it's a little low. I needed the strength node here. We got CI. I went to get Ghost Reaver so that my leech will apply to my energy shield. I came down here and got coordination, which helps with my whirling blade. This node actually up here, these nodes up here, might be a little point expensive, but they're really, really good. It gives you a lot of attack speed and cast speed. And since I'm dual wielding, it makes a big difference for my whirling blades and whatnot. However, putting a shield on and going low life, I feel would be equal on damage and allow you to have a higher ES and be a little bit more defensive. Going up here for this cluster as well. I'm also thinking about doing double curse because I am a Oculus. I'm not exactly sure yet if I'm going to or not. Over here I just have a basic jewel that the hinder is nice but not necessary, and basically it just gives me energy shield. I got 2 frost snow jewels for making freeze pulse pretty much viable. This is a really good jewel here. It's got crit multiplier for spells, 8% and 11 to fire and cold resist. I actually just had that. And then I plan on picking up jewel node here as well, and possibly some other jewel nodes around the tree. For my class here, I got Wicked Ward into Vile Bastion. I think this is really nice for this type of build, just for keeping myself alive, because since it's hardcore, I plan on going for Forbidden Power, which is the reason why I chose this over Elementalist. Elementalist will give you more penetration, but I kind of like the idea of getting the power charges for free. This build actually gets all three charges while mapping, and against bosses it can get a good amount of them as well, especially if they have ads. So this is why I chose this subclass. And then Profane Bloom is the one that I'm going to get last, and I haven't decided if I want to take out Vile Bastion and maybe go into Malediction for the extra curse, or just leave it at Bloom. I'll give you a quick run of a Blood Aqueduct and see how fast I can do it, and that'll be it for the build. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, this is only my second video ever, so feel free. Basically what you do is you just run through everything. Everything pretty much is frozen so far to this point. And you just pop all your flasks pretty much all the time. Like I said, I think this being an assassin or a trickster would even be good, or an elementalist would work, a guardian would work, a scion would work. So there's a lot of variation to this build. Freeze Pulse is in a pretty good spot right now. I don't think a ton of people use it. You can make a very strong Freeze Pulse character if you decide to use staffs as well, but you won't be moving this fast, obviously, and I kind of wanted to have a little bit more clear speed. As you can see, my energy shield goes down, but then it goes right back up. That's from the Life Leech and from the Vile Bastion. And as you can see, also everything freezes, so it's also technically really defensive. I mean, I don't have the most energy shield yet after the energy shield nerf, but it's still pretty defensive. You have Flask up most of the time. I haven't rolled Surgeon on all my flash yet, but if you were to roll Surgeon on all your flasks, since you're critting, you'll have them up pretty much all the time. I add Val Haste into this mix, you'd be even faster. All right, I think that covers everything. Thanks a lot. If you have any comments or concerns, let me know.